What's up, Capoeira Nation? Welcome back to the Capoeira Experience podcast. Thank you so much for being part of the Capoeira community. Thank you so much for being connected to your school, to the Capoeira community around you. I hope you get to travel. Traveling is the best part for me to get connected with community, but also to support the podcast and be connected with the community through the podcast. This is a podcast from the community to the community. So I'm very happy to have friends and have many people all around the world sharing their experience here in the podcast. And that being said, today I have a really good special guest because we got connected through my traveling in capoeira. And it's funny because my students, they told me, oh, is this capoeira event in Madison? And which have the vlog on the YouTube channel. You can see really nice event, one of the unique events I've ever been. And it's really cool when they told me, is this Raízes do Brasil event? I was like, oh, wait a minute, I started Raízes do Brasil. And then they told me, oh, it's going to be an event in a farm. I was like, wait a minute, I never been like this, I want to go. And we got connected. Me and my students got to be at this amazing event. And then I met her. We got connected there too. We became friends since there. And then I'm very excited to have her to share their experience, especially with that amazing idea of batizado na fazenda. So please let me introduce you to instructora Folha Seca. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm happy to have you here and to get to know you a little bit better, because sometimes I want to have a conversation with the host of the events, but sometimes, because I know how events work, you are so focused on so many things, it's going to be hard to engage in a conversation. So I'm happy to get to know you a little bit better.
Likewise, yeah. We didn't get to talk too much there.
Yeah. So I'm happy to have you here. And then to get started, I ask everybody, well, what are your social medias so people can find you there? Oh, and Madison and all of you guys.
Well, I don't have much, but Raízes do Brasil, or Roots of Brazil, Madison is on Facebook. And I think that might be it.
That's okay. Is there a website where people can
but
find
a lot
you?
of our students are on Instagram and
Oh, nice. Okay.
Can I send that to you?
Yeah, for sure. I'll put all the links down here on the description, on the notes of the podcast, and people can check there. And I usually put links on the Instagram description. I know doesn't work for Instagram, but people can click on Facebook.
Okay,
and
great.
They can find you there. Yeah, for sure. And any websites for people to find you there, that would be great. So people can, if they're close Madison, and if you get to visit Madison, there, Madison, Wisconsin, please go reach out to Folha Seca, because you're gonna have fun there. And then, what is your capoeira story to get people to get to know you, where you started, and until where you are right now?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want the short version or the long version, so I'll tell you something in the middle.
Any version, yes. that something that comes out from your mind and your heart, anything.
Yeah, so in late 2005, I was a community organizer, and one of my good friends, Julio, was at campus, and this is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, so just outside of Grand Rapids. It's like he came back from the campus and he said, I saw something on campus that I think you're going to love. And I had actually never heard of capoeira. And so I went and I saw it, and I just, on first sight, like I fell in love. And I went to the first class. That was their last class and then they took a summer break. So I had to wait for the rest of the summer and then start in fall. So that was really hard. I got a taste, and I came back and showed my roommate, like, this is Jenga, and then looked back, and I'm like, I was even doing that incorrectly. I had no idea what I was doing. And I just fell in love with it, with the physicality of it, with a little bit of the history, what I knew at the time, even, and being a community organizer, saw those connections. I'm not naturally good at music, but I love it. And so also hearing people create music and then other people moving to it, and it looked like what are they doing? They seem like they're interacting. You know, I don't know if I would have said at the time they're having a conversation, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And just I just wanted more. I don't know how it was when you first saw capoeira, but
same.
I had never seen anything like it in my life. Kashishi.
Yeah, same. Well, and it's the same thing when I asked my friend his brother was training in the high school, and they were talking about like macaco, jinga, jaua, madre. And I was like, man, what the hell are they talking about? And my friend was like, yo, my brother practiced capoeira. And I was like, what is that? And then he was like, there's a class in this university that you should go. And then when I got out of the subway, he took me like straight to the capoeira class. The university is huge, but I went straight to the class, and same thing. I saw the Hada, they were practicing music, and then was like a music class before the class. And then they were practicing the malandro malandro capoeira malandro malandro. That's from high school.
I love that song.
Yeah, I forgot who made it, but I think the person that made it is from High School Brazil. I completely forgot.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Contra Mesa Capu. I don't remember that. Then he became Jingado, but they were practicing that music with the beating bow, and I was like, man, what is this? It's pretty cool. And then I sat down, and then that was my first class, and they never stopped since then.
That's awesome. You know who taught me that song? Malau, who you met and you know now. You know Malau? Yeah.
He told you that song?
He taught me. Well, I think he was the first one I heard sing it. And so often, like, that's how I learned a lot of music. Once I was in Santa Cruz, I would listen to what usually Mr. Papiba or Malau were singing in the hall. Then I would go home and then look it up and then just.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was usually like here. And I think Milan was the first person I heard sing that song.
Nice. And what happened after seeing Capoeira first time? You wait the entire year and
just the summer.
Back in Michigan, right?
Yeah, just the summer. And then I just started. So I did it for maybe 5 or 6 months there, and then I moved back home to Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then there was capoeira mandinga. There was no mandinga here in Madison. I trained with Omalu for maybe 6 months. And then, I just happened to find out about Raízes do Brasil. Sabidinho had just started the school, and I started, training maybe 1 or 2 classes. And then I kept training with them for a while, and I eventually felt like it was a good fit, and I decided to leave my my current group then, right? And then switched to Raízes do Brasil. I stayed here for a bit, and then I took another community organizing job in California. And so I moved there and was there for 10 years.
Nice, okay.
And trained a lot in Santa Cruz, and then somewhat in San Francisco with some of Meshi Papiba's students had a small school there. And so I would go back and forth. I was living in San Jose, California.
Oh, cool. And then, so that was like around 2015, 16 when you...
2007 to 2000, I guess 2008. We left there. Then I met my current husband in Capoeira. I broke my own rule. And we left in 2018 for Madison.
Oh, cool. My best friend's name was Caju.
I see.
In Raízes do Brasil, yeah.
Really? There's another Caju?
Yeah. It was pretty cool. When I heard the Caju, the Caju name, I was like, wait a minute, who's that? Then I was looking, and then when I saw him walking, I was like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And that was in Teresina?
No, in Venezuela, in Caracas.
Oh, that was in Venezuela?
Yeah.
Okay, that was his capoeira name.
Yeah, his capoeira nickname. I forgot why, but why his name is Caju?
It's not. There's no real story. He just that fruit is found in the state where he's from, and
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Why Folha Seca? Where the Folha Seca came from?
Also, no real story there. When I was in Manjinga, my padrino, the guy who baptized me,
Yeah.
I just love, it was fall and I love leaves. And I think he saw me like collecting.
Oh, cool.
There's no story there.
Cool. Well, it's funny because it's the beginning of the fall now. And then Folha Seca. Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nice.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. And then when was the timing when you started teaching and you decide like I want to teach. I want to have my first class and I want to commit to this.
Well, so in Santa Cruz, whenever you also met Kwachi, Professor Kwachi, right?
Okay.
Whenever he wasn't in town, he would have me teach for him.
Oh, cool.
So I was his backup in Santa Cruz. Then he started his own offshoot school in Monterey, California. And so likewise there, whenever he couldn't teach, I would teach for him. So I started to know that I liked teaching.
Nice.
I also really loved being a student though. And there are enough high courts in Santa Cruz that there was no reason to have my own class, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't really a need to, there are enough, at least at that time, I think there are enough teachers. So I would just fill in when Kwachi or sometimes Papipa needed it. And then when I moved here, I think the same thing. I would have been fine being a student. Yeah. I love being a student. And it seemed like there was a need for more leadership in like the creative and the teaching space in the group.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt that out for a while, maybe, I don't know how long, some months, and then had some conversations with a couple of the students and with Sabi. And honestly, Kashishi, I have a side to me that's ambitious. Like I wanted to try that on. I wanted to try leading. And I had, my own ideas that they're easier to try on when you're sort of the only or one of the only teachers in a space.
Yeah.
When you have ideas about methodology or like what you would like a class to look like. So it seemed like there was space for that here, and just a really open and receptive community. And so I also, talked to the other person who had my core level to see if he was open to that. And at the time it was like people took turns teaching. Okay. And I didn't sense that there was any one person who had been interested in leading the group. So it seemed like there was space for that. And so there was conversation that's the Contramestre Sabijinho, who you also met. And he was my first teacher in Haisis.
Nice. Okay.
So there were conversations that we had, and, not always easy, but always open.
Yeah. And you met him in Madison, right? Because I remember you guys mentioned that he opened the classes in Madison.
Yeah, he started the group here, and he started the group with with three others, with his wife Leoa, and then with Pirata, who I don't know if he's teaching right now, but he has taught in the past. And he was, I don't know what his cord was. I think he might have been a professor at the time, or almost. And then his partner, Yola. Yeah. So they all started really with Sabi, but they were all supportive and started the group together. Nice. But it was Sabi's group, and he was here for, I think, 10 years.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I believe.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work. Was you guys and Omolu in Madison?
At the time, I think there was also an Angola. Yeah, there was also an Angola group at the time. And I believe still sometimes I believe there is. I'm not quite sure what their status is.
Oh, okay. Then, and when was the time when Sabi was like, hey, I'm leaving town. You the boss now. You're in charge of this now.
Oh no, he wasn't here when I moved back. He hadn't been here for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
or
Also, you.
so. I might not have that exactly right, but about 3 years, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when you moved from California to Madison, he wasn't there yet.
When I moved from California back to Madison, no, he was no longer here. They had gone back. He
Oh,
had family needs. His wife really needed to move. They both, their families are from there.
yeah.
They both needed to move back.
Oh,
And
okay.
so he had been back in the Bay Area, not in Santa Cruz, but he had been back there for about 3 years. And the group, so you met Aza,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Aza and her husband Lokomochiva did a lot to keep the group financially solvent,
Oh,
and then they had different people. They
yeah.
got to have different people teach. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So they were in charge in those 3 years gap in between he left and you came back.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
keeping.
cool. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were. I think that I don't want to say low chords, but
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't have high chords,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they were really, they were still very much students, and they're still
Yeah.
students, but they had the desire to keep the group alive.
That's what
They
it
wanted
takes.
to
Yeah.
keep the community together, and I don't think it was, from everything, all the
Yeah.
stories they've told me, it wasn't an easy task, but the
Yeah, for
desire
sure.
was there.
Yeah. And like so sometimes we get the ego in front of us, right? And be like, oh, you have to be hardcore to keep a school. It's like, man, if you wanna keep the school alive, doesn't matter the core. As long as there's people wanting to learn and come together, I think that's what actually matters, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And when you came back to Madison, how do you have a conversation with them and be like, hey, uh, let's bring this back alive and get stronger on this and make our class grow?
Well, there were already, I'm maybe 7 or 8 students
That's so
together.
cool. Yeah.
In and out. Classes were, and I mean, this still can happen. Like sometimes three students, like a big class might be 8. But there was still very much a group here when I got back. And I think, thanks to them and thanks to others who were helping keep the group alive, like Moiu, Boca Suja, right?
Okay.
Continuing to come to classes. So I think without all of the students deciding, having their own volition to keep the group together, there wouldn't have been a group for me to come back to. So first we came in and we were just going to classes. I would teach and just feeling it out and really getting to know our new community, because a lot of the people were new. And I was pregnant, and we were looking for a house, and I remember still, like, we're trying to figure out, like, who everybody is, and like, I mean, we know who they are, but like who they are, right?
Yeah, and
exactly. We were at I'll never forget this. We were at an Omalu event, and I'm standing around pretty pregnant with Lokomochiva, who is our treasurer, and Oz's husband, and so we had just gotten our first house, right? And we were going to move, and I was telling him, I don't know if I can do it that weekend. We're going to be moving. And he said, oh, we'll help you move. And I looked at him and said, oh, thank you, but no, it's okay. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll get family or hire people. And he said, no, we'll help you. And I said, we're just getting to know you guys. It's cool. That's okay. And he said, what else is community for, Folha?
Oh man, yes.
And I was just, of course, I was pregnant, so I was already like, very emotional.
Nice.
But I mean, that was one of the first moments that I realized, oh yeah, like these people are willing to totally bring us into their community, and and let us lean into them too. And so, they moved us. I think there was a group of Projigu, Moiu, Boca Suja.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Lokomochiva, they all moved us in here.
That's so cool. It's so funny how like one simple either word or action can change the entire thing. Because the same thing happened with my best friend. That's how we became best friend. And was an issue that happened with him, and another friend of us like told him to get out of the car, and I was like to take the bus, and but like, it was really really far from home, and I was like, Kaju and I we used to live very close, and I was like, don't worry, I'll get out of the car with you. I'll take the bus with you. And the issue was with him, wasn't with me. I was like, don't worry, man, I'll take the bus with you. And then since that moment, our entire relationship changed. We became best friends since then. And then because of that, one simple action or word changed the entire dynamic.
Oh my gosh, just got goosebumps. Yeah, it's like when somebody says and shows, I'm there with you.
Yeah. And it builds that relationship and makes your relationship tighter. It's really cool to see those kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you for telling me that story.
Yeah, of course. And then when was the time when you guys had a bachizado and were like, or first event, and be like, hey, I think we have a really good level, a really good amount of people for us to have our first bachizado?
I mean, it was the next year. So Kaju and I came in late, like November 2018.
Oh,
and
nice.
We had a bachizado the next year. I think they had just had a bachizado maybe earlier that year. I believe they had a bachizado. I know they did in earlier 2018. So they were still having bachizados.
That's so cool. Nice.
Yeah. So they would do a lot. The group here would do, the group of students would do all of the organizing, all of the work. Right. And then, and they would have Contra Mestre Sabidinho and Papiba come and then support the event with all of their knowledge and experience and, abilities to put a group, an event together. But there was certainly work happening on the ground here to continue it. And I think that's a testament to like what you were speaking to. It's, if there's a desire, like if there's a group of people, it doesn't take what people necessarily think that it takes to keep a group together. I think we often think of a group around one like charismatic leader. And that's what it's like, that's when people come and are drawn.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's something to that. And the reason that people are usually decide to stay isn't because of one person.
Yeah.
Like leadership ability or like hot capoeira, like lots of people do hot capoeira, but the group decided, right, as a community that they wanted to keep something going. And And
when new people see because if you see that unity in the group and you see that like Asa and Locomotiva working together and then the other students working together and helping each other, the other people are gonna be like that. This is cool, is that sense of community there that help other people to feel welcome too,
Right. And it offers reciprocity. Like I'm from a community organizing background, and being able to have mutual relationship and mutual positive experience is really important. So it's not like 100%. One person is offering and other people are just receiving, right? And it doesn't, I think we need to take into account more in capoeira that people have life skills outside of capoeira. So if you just expect one person to have everything, then one, like that puts too much, like on a mestre, for example, any given mestre, if you expect one mestre to have everything, then like that's putting a lot of pressure on that person. And it's also not respecting all of the gifts of everybody else who's coming into a room. Like just because somebody's a beginner capoeirista doesn't mean they don't have life skills, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I think sometimes we act as if that were the case.
Yeah. And it's the same too. Like for example, if you put on the scale of me, like, like you said, like a mestre is not gonna offer you 100% of the knowledge, and then be like, well, you the mestre, you're supposed to teach me everything. He's like, well, wait a minute, but I don't have the whole full truth in my hands. You can go travel and explore and bring that information and share it with your mestre. You probably learn something that your mestre never seen before, and is nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing be like, the mestre, or sorry, the students is walking on top of the master or anything like that. It's not the case. And again, the ego comes in front of us and be like, oh no, I'm the highest scorer. I'm the one giving everything.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah. And also like on the other side, because I've seen also many times of students be like, I learned this outside of my school. My teacher never taught me this. And when I brought it to my teacher, they don't know what I just learned, and be like, well, you're supposed to be a teacher. Well, you don't know this. They're like, well, he's, I don't have all the answers.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. And there's so many different styles out there. There's so much to learn, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And especially capoeira, right? Capoeira is such a wide no ways to approach it. So many ways to approach it. And then somebody's going to have a different ways of teaching. Somebody's going to have different ways to teach one specific thing. And queixada can be many persons how to teach queixada. And then who knows, you probably go to a different school and be like, oh, I just learned how to this trick of queixada. And it's just, like you say, it's different styles.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't take us off too much, but this just seems like an appropriate tangent.
Yeah, of course. Always.
So I take classes with an Angolera.
Okay.
But through Zoom.
Yeah.
Who talks about sotaques in capoeira.
Okay.
Accents.
Yeah.
And I think her name is Ana, and Ana Costa, and I think that she gets this from Mr. Cabello, I believe. I don't know if you ever met him. He's from the Bahia area. He's an Angolero.
No. Yeah.
And she talks about how it's important to develop your own sotaque. And so it's good to go out and get, right, like different information, understand, like you visit other haldas, you visit different groups, and you can bring in different things. And I mean, she's talking about this in the context of the kind of Angola that they play, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's applicable in other parts of capoeira too, like 100%. To understand, like what is your sotaque? What is the accent that you're trying to speak? Right. And I really appreciated her, like that question or that she poses, because it's had me thinking since I first heard her say it, like what is our sotaque? Yeah. You do need information from different places.
Totally.
And it's fun to bring it in and be like, how could I incorporate this or make it our sotaque? Or does it fit? Or does it only fit like if I'm visiting a different hall, then we're playing a certain rhythm, right?
Yeah. And I like that because it's really cool how you can approach that and how can you apply it, because it's the same thing. Like I always tell my students, all of them, go travel. I don't care where you go, and as long as you stay safe and I know where you guys are, in case I don't know who's the person is, but travel, man, travel. I'm not gonna be the one teaching you everything. So but when you travel, when you come back, share what you learn and see how we can help each other to be like, oh, this is actually really cool, and be like, it's really nice to see other people learning and experiencing different ideas. Yeah. What's your sotaque? What do you? How do you take that, like into class or how do you take it?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you without showing you. I mean, you were at the Bachisado. You see the kind of regional that we play. It's, I would say, and this is just one perspective and this is just my interpretation, but I would say that it's maybe a looser version of regional and a more, well, at least I'll say for me, what I'm trying to incorporate is what I see in what I've always tried to incorporate, and I have a hard time doing, but it's something that really draws me, is when I'm playing our style is Papiba's ability to flow and to have one movement be a part of the next movement. Yes. And that's something that I find myself struggling with. So like that's the sotaque that I aspire to have, is just a more flowing game.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the once I met Mr. Papiva, I was like, man, Mr. Papiva is like that person that you want to hang out with. Is like really smooth energy, and he's like, Mister, I just want to talk to you. That's why when you saw me at the event, I always try to like sit next to him and see, just like ask questions and have a conversation with him, because it was really super nice to have a conversation with him and learn
Yeah,
from
he's
him.
really easy to talk to.
Yeah, super nice, super welcoming, and I was like, man, he was like he got a piece from me that and I definitely want to go visit him. I hope soon.
Yeah, I hope you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you do. Send pictures. I know you will send video.
Oh yes. Oh, whenever I make a trip, I will definitely will be recording. And then when was the time for people here that they don't know, because the way we met is on your bachizado, on you guys bachizado of Nova Hacienda in the farm of Asa's family.
Yeah.
How that idea came up to provide a land and the ideas and what to do on the farm, how that came up.
Yeah, well, we had, of course, decided, like most people after March of 2020, not to do a bachisado, not to do any kind of an event last year. And then this year we had decided the same thing. We had a meeting, and we have monthly meetings, and everybody agreed it was still not a good idea to have an event. And then somehow it was Locomotiva started thinking about how we could have an event. So he's like, if I'm more introverted, he's like
the opposite.
Yes, I'm a little bit more of an extrovert. He's a lot of an extrovert. So he loves the party of the bachisado. He loves the celebration. He loves all of the people. And he would say, I think that there's something extra, something special about a bachisado that, like, I would often be just fine having an encontro, not necessarily need the bachisado. And he would say, like, that adds something.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So he was advocating for it with me. And at first I was very resistant and said, no, nice. I don't think that's a good idea. And so he and Asa came over, as they often do, and we sat outside, had a conversation about it. And he gave me all of his best pitch. And at the end of it, what we settled on is, okay, I will go and see the place.
Yeah.
I'll take a look. And so, but I was already, even before that, I think what I was convinced of, and I had conversations with a couple folks in Santa Cruz, who, I look at as guides. I had decided that it would be good for our students. It would be good for our high seas local community. And it would be good for our larger community, and that this might be a way that we could all come together safely. And I couldn't, like, my reasons for not doing it started falling away.
Yeah. You start adding stuff and be like, oh yeah, well, this is good. Oh, I think it's going to be good. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, the not being ready for, or getting too hung up on, well, how long have people been training? What about new chords and this and that? I think you have to get past some of that stuff. I mean, that's what I learned, and just look at, is this good for our community? Does it have more benefit than challenge? And so I saw the place, and you saw the place, but I imagine like the barn was full of, I think Asa wouldn't be upset with me for saying this, but like, no, I'll say stuff.
Okay.
But still, they had lights up, they've had weddings there, and I could easily imagine what they were describing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think I went from the conditional to the future tense. And I think that's when they knew. I was like, well, if we if we would do this, and then I started speaking that, well, we'll do this when and then they realize, okay, I think she's sold.
Yeah, nice. They start putting ideas together and see the whole, they put the entire picture in your head and sold it. Nice.
Yeah. And then as we talked, we realized, oh, this might make more sense. I forget who said this. Maybe it was somebody else, but, or a different student talked about doing more than one day. And having it be more of like a retreat feel. So we almost called it a retreat, but we ended up not. But that's the feel we were going for.
Nice. Okay.
Having a away from feeling.
Yeah.
Like away from all of the stuff that we're all dealing with right now.
Yeah. Well, it was a really good idea because everybody was having so much fun, and then camping and the lake, and it was really, really cool to see, and the super fresh food.
Did you get out? So you got out in the boat, right?
Yeah. I was in the boat with Miss Papiva, and then Sabi, and it was a few of us. Awesome. Super nice. Yeah.
And did you get bitten up that weekend?
The what?
Did you get bitten up a little bit?
Oh, by the mosquitoes? Yeah, a little bit. But the funny thing is, like, I forgot the name of the girl that had the short hair. I forgot the name. But she, when I saw her playing, I saw her from the back. It looked like those things that you connect all the dots, like to make a figure. That's how her back looks like. And I was like, Jesus, it's like all the mosquitoes like on her.
Oh, was it one of the beginning students? Whitney?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think so. That her boyfriend is the skinny guy with glasses, I think.
Yeah.
Her. Yeah. Oh man, when I saw her back, I was like, oh my God, that her back.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I got a few bites. I know that Colorida got a bunch of bites, and Papa Leguas got a bunch of bites too. Yeah. But it was super fun, and we had a lot of fun. That was the last thing we remember is the workshops were really fun. The lake, camping, everything was really cool.
I mean, you four totally represent your group. A group.
Thank you.
Yeah, a contingency of 4 coming from Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, my wife was so close to make it, but she couldn't make it because her mom was arriving that weekend.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, oh man, I wish you could go, because it was super fun, jumping on the lake, everything.
Does she also play?
Oh yeah. She's my highest score.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. Are you guys going to Milwaukee?
I don't know. That's the same weekend as Guerrero's Bachizado in Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we might not see you.
Okay, so we don't know yet. Me and my wife, we're still like debating if we're going or not, but we might be there in Milwaukee.
Well, I'll meet her at our next event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or whenever you guys come here to Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's great. That's right. Yeah. We don't need a reason.
Yes, no. Capoeirista, we don't have a reason. Like we will visit each other at some point.
Yeah.
You guys are planning another Bachizado for next year?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Do you always have your next? You do always have your next date?
Yeah. I usually try to like plan for it, or the same time. I was planning. My first Bachizado was in February.
Okay.
But I'm gonna start moving to the beginning of October. So
okay.
After that week, probably the first or the second weekend of October, one of those two. And then once that happens, that's gonna be forever the same weekend.
October. Okay.
Yeah, that way he's set up for, and also my message calendar is he has it like set up for that weekend.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah, that way everybody knows, like, this weekend is for Indianapolis event.
Sweet. That's nice.
Yeah. And then how was the experience of the students after they done with the Bachizado, what they said about the event and all that?
I think everybody had a positive experience. I'm trying to think to the different folks. The 3 who made all of the food and organized everything certainly felt, I believe so. I've talked to them, felt appreciated
So
scene, and
good.
that they also got to participate, which
Yeah.
was my big concern.
Yes.
I I think everybody was sort of, yeah, I mean, you know what a bachusado does, like people
Yeah.
are on fire afterwards. And it's tricky because that was the summer and we're right at the fall point. And so I think it's also just moving indoors. It's going to be tricky to maintain all of that energy.
Yeah. Hopefully that keeps them pushing and training, and don't forgetting that, it's something really good coming up.
Yeah. But I think everybody felt as at our post Bachisado meeting, everybody felt really positive about it.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah.
That's really cool. And then to wrap it up, because I know you busy too. What would be the single advice for the capoeira community that you think that everybody can listen to this to the podcast? Everybody listening, single advice.
Oh my gosh, advice. Well, let me think about, can I ask you first? What's your
Yeah,
piece of advice for the capoeira community?
to stay united. That
Ah,
I feel like we united, but we know that yet, because I feel like we as a capoeira community, we have to support more each other.
uh-huh.
It's like I told you at when we were leaving Madison, or when we were leaving the Bachisao, and be like, like us here in the Midwest, we have small pockets of the of communities, but it's not that far. 4 hours is not far for us, and 4 hours and a half. I feel like probably after 5 hours, it start getting a little bit too far, but we're so close enough, and there's mestres that used to travel 12 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours to go to a capoeira event or to visit another school. And again, doesn't matter logo. I'm not looking for logos. I'm looking for capoeira, for us to do capoeira and have hada and just to have fun. We, no matter logo, no matter level, no matter where you came from, is let's do capoeira all together. That's what really matters. That's what we're looking for.
I think you were in the conversation. I know you were, and I think it was Sabiji who was saying to us that it wasn't that long ago that spirit that I hear in you didn't exist so much in the
Yeah,
capoeira
yeah,
world.
yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
it Sabi who was saying that to
Yeah,
us?
yeah. I think it was Sabi, Mr. Papiva, you were there. I think Milan was there. I think it was, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but that I think that culture does exist more and more today, right?
Yeah,
That people
totally,
come
totally.
together not necessarily to brawl, but
Yeah.
and not that it can't get really direct and physical,
Yeah,
but that it's also about building community and playing together and building each other up, right?
yeah, totally. Because I remember back in Venezuela, we had a Hada, and I don't know if I mentioned this during his conversation, but we had a Hada for peace, and peace was the last thing in the Hada. Because it was like two groups. It was Raíces do Brasil and Sensala, the two biggest group in Caracas, in Venezuela. It was the last thing was peace in the hut. Everybody was kicking each other super hard. Somebody got a broken nose, and then it was a mess. And I was like, man, I don't understand. You're supposed to be for peace, right? And then today's days is totally different. It's like everybody just want to have fun. It's just like everybody wants to jump, everybody hugging each other. That's what the capoeira I like to see. That's like the capoeira. And yeah, like you said, you can get physical, it can be a little bit physical, but at the end, he's still having fun, right? And then there's no ego in front of us, and then there's no I want to kill you. Then after the next hot, it's just like let's just have fun. That's the best part of capoeira.
Yeah, I hear you. And I do agree that is much more the culture now. And I still think that your and your students as well, but your attitude and like action behind it of then going and visiting other groups and building community is still fairly unique.
Thank you.
Like I think people show up to each other's events,
For
right?
sure.
And I could certainly do that more. And I think what you do as far as promoting it on your podcast and visiting, and your students as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I forget who was it, Colorida, who first found the, I mean, I think that is still maybe a little bit more unique than we want it to be, right?
Yeah.
So I do wonder like how do you become geared that way?
Because that's how I grew up in Capoeira in Venezuela. And then somebody asked me the same question, like where the desire came from. And then back in Venezuela, when it was the hate in between Raíces do Brasil and Sensala, one of my friends that started with me in Raíces do Brasil, he switched to Sensala. Then they had another friend that switched from Raíces do Brasil to Sensala. And then, but we're still friends. And then after class, he was coming to the park where we used to train, and we would train together. We do like backflips and do it just on the grass, just talking and just helping each other to train. And then all the teachers, they were like, "Why are you hanging out with them?" He's like, "Oh, because they're our friends." What are you talking about? It's our friends. And then, but they're Sensalas, and we're like, "So what? Your problem is you with them, man. It's not our problem." And then eventually the old teachers start joining us, and then the other teachers start joining us. And then when I switched to Capoeira Brazil, my instructor was visiting Sensala all the time. And then our event was like 50% us and like 50% Sensala, other group. And then our group was so huge and grew up super fast because we were helping each other. And then the Hada was like, our group, when we started Capoeira Brazil there in Venezuela, was 10 to 15 people. And then when Sensala came to our Hadas, it was like 30 people, 15, 20 people. And then it was a big Hadas because we help each other. And then the students get excited because they see a lot of people. And then the beginners get excited and then they want to train more. And then that brings more people. And then, it's just a reciprocity. It's really cool. And it's really good to see that sense of community. And I feel like we can do the same here, and I feel like as a group, again, I don't care about the group. As long as we have each other and we actually say we are a community and we act as a community, we can definitely grow bigger, and we can help you grow your school and you can help me grow my school once you can do events. Because the newer people are going to be like, man, this is so cool. 50 people in an event, man, this is really cool.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see people coming together for the same point,
I feel like if I could describe your orientation to Capoeira Kashishi, I would say that your tagline would be, don't you want to build a bigger family? Like that's what your posture is.
Yeah. And then we want to grow, but we want to grow in our bubble. Why don't pop the bubble and just grow bigger? It's like we putting our limitations to ourselves into a community. Is no, man, let's just all go blow up all together. And it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about our community, it's about the entire field. It doesn't matter how you look like, where you came from, as long as we want to do capoeira.
Yeah. So,
but what is your single advice for a community?
Let's see. Okay, how can I give advice that I need to give to myself?
For sure, 100%.
To lean into the part of capoeira that is not as natural to you. So whether that's about the actual aspects of capoeira, like, the physicality, the music, learning about the history, speaking the language, or whether it's about the environment of capoeira, like you're making assumptions about people in good faith, or building out the community, going to events, so like whatever that is that's not so natural to you, to try to lean into that part and grow that part.
For sure. Nice. I like it because that way we can get out of our comfort zone, right? And then we can help, because some people say, it's better to be outside of the comfort zone so you can grow. But if we don't try, how we grow,
That's right. Yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Folha. Thank you so much. It was super nice. And I really hope to see you soon, or any of your students. All of you guys always welcome here in Indianapolis anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope to play with you again soon. So there's this move that you do that I am inspired to learn.
Which one?
I can't quite describe it. It's like a passaging. You know, passaging is that, do you use that language too? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a passaging, but and actually Kaju noticed it first. He's like, Kashi, she does this passaging, and he loves passaging. It's like,
oh, nice.
If you ever watch his game, he talks down about himself. He'll be like, oh, I'm, whatever, bad gamer. But if he has good vision, and he loves to go around, and he does a lot of passaging. And so he noticed this about you first. And then I noticed, I was like, right, you do this. You're really good at going contra. So instead of going with a kick and stepping in, you step the other way and then slide your leg in from the inside and do Vingachiva.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's genius. I went back and watched some video, and I was like, how would he even think to do that? That's
thank you.
It's not the way that you would think to go in for a Vingachiva.
Okay. If you watch the video and send me a link and let me know which minute, and I can kind of like make a video with my wife and tell you how.
Well, no, we figured. I know how we figured it out.
Oh yeah, nice.
But I guess what I mean is, like, how did you figure out to do it in the first place? That's what I'm more.
Oh, okay. I gotta see the.
Yeah, we were Kaju and I were practicing it in his office
nice.
the other day. Yeah, we were having a lot of fun, like, practicing it. But I more meant, like, oh, how did he, like, that's so smart to think to get into a Vingachiva that way, and it's really sly because you don't see it coming, because you're esquiva en contra. Like, if Yamada comes this way, right, to your right, and you go contra, and then you slide your other leg inside, and you get to their leg in front in a Vingachiva. See, now I'm giving away all of your secrets. So
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I think so. I think I remember. I don't know if I did it to you or I did it to Milan. I don't remember.
There were two people that we saw you do it with. The woman who Penelope from New York.
Okay.
And then there was one other person. It might have been Milan. I forget. You also had a really nice game with
thank you so much. Oh yeah, with Papiba. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch, like, really skilled people play with him, because you get to see their skill, but then you also get to see his vision. Like, he sees freaking everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Mestre, and Papiba, I can tell that he has a lot of experience too. And he likes that. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Folha, thank you so much. And let's talk soon and let's keep in touch, okay?
Okay, take good care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for getting this far. Remember, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is going to help us and help me to get bigger numbers and bigger subscribers so we can give more information, okay? Please, if you're listening, I know you're listening, I know you're watching, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, okay? I know you're watching right here or listening. All right, have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening every single episode, especially the episode we just did. All right, thank you so much. Peace.